Hello there, it's Arlene again from Pennies to Plenty. I am back today with part 2 of this audio blog post, which is about 19 places to get clothes to sell on Poshmark. This originally started as a blog post on my blog, From Pennies to Plenty, and I've already recorded part 1. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, go ahead and do that. I cover numbers 1 through 10 of this list. Today, in part 2, I will cover numbers 11 to 19, so we'll get through the end here. Let's start with number 11, which is ThredUp Rescue Boxes. I've given this a separate listing because ThredUp is a popular source for mystery boxes. They call them rescue boxes. These are goods that haven't sold, but they're looking to move them on out. And I see usually different kinds, like they have an only shoes one, they have an only jeans or a rescue denim one. I think they've had maybe a jewelry one. Their offerings change from time to time as they sell out and restock. And sometimes they may not even be available. Once in a while, you'll use the rescue box link and it will go directly to their homepage. I've read about and watched a few unboxings myself. Most were positive. The sellers were happy with the brands and the condition of the items they received. Not everyone was pleased though. Some items, they came damaged or misidentified, like children's or juniors clothing listed as adult clothing, being sent a sheet or blanket that was categorized as a scarf. Some brands were acceptable enough for the buyer to wear for themselves, but definitely not valuable enough to try and resell to make a profit. I actually bought a ThredUp mystery box before, and I sold a few things off. Honestly, I didn't think a lot of the items I got were of great value, and so I mostly donated the goods that I got back to a thrift store. There's really no way to know what brands you'll receive. Some may be higher end, others lower end. And here's an example of some of the brands I saw in one jeans mystery box. Acme, Madewell, Mother, Old Navy, Levi's, Rag & Bone, American Eagle, Jessica Simpson, Paige, American Rag, Gap. Now you see some of them are pretty good, right? Likely to resell. Madewell, Mother, Rag & Bone. Others, maybe not so much, like Gap, or you're going to have to sell them at a pretty low price. Let's move on to number 12, and that's ThredUp itself. The ThredUp website can be another source of inventory. I personally found that most of the items were too high priced for resale. I think they're okay to buy for yourself if you just want to wear it on your own. But if you're looking to get it to resell, they're too high priced to make a profit. That said, sometimes there are some ways you can save there. The first is to look for coupon codes. The coupons will get you discount on items and shipping. And you can get these either by signing up for their emails, you can browse their website. I've even gotten physical mailers in the snail mail letting me know about sales. They almost always have some kind of promotion or discount running, I think every day pretty much. So if you're about to order something, go search for a discount code or a coupon code and get that savings. The second way is to browse the sale items. These items have just been discounted. You have to check frequently because you want to get those items quickly. They've just been put up for sale before someone else gets them. The third way to make the best of ThredUp is to know the top selling brands. So you can like some of the items by brands such as Free People, Tory Burch, Reformation. Then when those items don't sell, maybe they go on sale, you can be one of the first to snatch them up. Many people have commented online about having a bad experience selling their goods to ThredUp. They've received really low payouts, like less than $2 for nice items. They've also had difficulty getting their rejected items returned to them, thereby losing even more money. And honestly, I don't know how true this is, but I would consider that ThredUp, it might be worth it for acquiring inventory, and I would suggest doing careful research if you plan to sell your things to them. Number 13 is other secondhand resale sites. Some people have great success buying items at low cost on sites like eBay and then flipping them. Why are these items low priced? Well, it's often new users not knowing the value of goods. Maybe they've misspelled listings and those are getting fewer views. Some sellers are having a fire sale. They just need to sell stuff off and they'll give it to you for a low price. And sometimes it's listings with bad pictures. People don't want to take the risk of buying the item because they can't really see it in the pictures, but the item is actually okay. This actually happened to me once. My very first item I sold on Poshmark was a new Coach wristlet for $10. I didn't realize how Poshmark works at the time, and I listed a few items, not thinking much about pricing. I was just trying to learn how to use the platform. I thought it was like eBay and that no one would view my items. They'd sit there for days, and I don't know, I thought maybe they'd even have to haggle price. I didn't know how it worked. But once I listed that Coach wristlet, it sold immediately. Whoops, I realized that I made a mistake. I should have listed it for more. So here are a few ways to find these new and lower price listings on Poshmark. The first is to just type in a brand name into the search box, like Lululemon. That's my go-to example. And then click on sort by and choose just in. These are the items that were just listed, and sometimes you'll find items that are underpriced before the seller realizes it. A second way to look for these low cost items is on the app, click shop, then all people, then new people, and then fresh closets. You want to look at these fresh closets. You do have to click on each profile individually to see the items, but these are the first items a person has listed to their new closet. And you'll see all sorts of random stuff, all kinds of prices, high and low. If you get lucky, again, you can find something there for cheap. I'm going to move on now to number 14, which is a long one. Estate sales, garage sales, yard sales, church sales, and school sales. I listed them all together as one. The best thing about these is that you can negotiate price. Most people are looking to recoup whatever money they can while they get rid of things they don't want anymore. So they're willing to work with you on a price because they want their goods gone. I've been to a few estate sales and I haven't had much luck with them. You can sometimes find a lot of designer clothing, like 10 pairs of shoes by a high-end brand or 10 luxury brand purses. The estate sales I've been to, they've known that they're valuable, that their goods were valuable, and they mark their prices high. Too high to flip, and even sometimes for me, too high to buy for myself. Once in a while, though, you will come across people who price low because they don't know the value of their items or they want them sold. And here are a few tips to make the best of these kinds of sales. The first is to plan your visits. Search local online boards like Craigslist to see where the garage sales will be, then prioritize your visits and create a route to hit them. The second is to be first in line. The best items always go quickly. If you know that a sale has something you want, make it a point to be the first one there. Sometimes in the advertisements for garage sales, you will find people put up pictures of some of the things they're selling, or they will list things by name brand. And that's how you can kind of know if you want to make it a point to go there or not. If you have a number of places that you want to go and be first at, obviously you can't clone yourself. So maybe you can ask a family member or a friend to go to one while you hit the other. And the third tip is to bring cash. Most people are not set up to take credit card payments, so prepare to haggle and then pay cash for your goods. Now we are on to number 15. I can't believe I almost forgot to mention sample sales. Although this is number 15, this is the last place that I put in here because it just came to my mind at the last moment. And sample sales, they're a good one. Before clothes are mass produced for sale, designers and brands make samples of the items. These items are then adjusted to make them maybe fit better, look better, have more appeal, fit with the designer's vision. Maybe they change the color, the cut, all sorts of things. The samples that have been produced as part of this production process, sometimes they're later sold to the public at sample sales. And sometimes these sales will have more than samples. They'll include overstocked items, returned items, things that didn't sell well, whatever the company still has on hand. So the company or store is basically trying to offload everything extra they have. And you can get many great designer items cheap this way. New York and Los Angeles have the most and best sample sales from what I've heard. I don't live in those cities. I'd love to go visit one day and hit the sample sales. If you're not in those cities, though, you still may have luck coming across sales, although they may be smaller or less frequent. I check out the site, I think it's called ChicMe, ChicMI, to find the latest sales that are happening in my area. Number 16 here is pawn shops. Pawn shops receive their goods from people looking for loans, and people put up their items of value in exchange for the loan. And if they don't pay back the loan in time, the pawn shop keeps the item and they sell it. Generally, you won't find clothes at these pawn shops, but you can find jewelry, luxury brand purses, electronics. Some of my favorite items I've come across while browsing Poshmark and eBay have been from pawn shops that were actual physical brick and mortar shops, but they'd taken their businesses online. They've sold very unique items. I remember one was this Tiffany ring that was, I think, made in Italy, and it had hearts on it. I've only ever seen it once or twice. I have not been able to find it anywhere else, and unfortunately, it sold before I could get it. Be careful about purchasing jewelry online though, unless you are knowledgeable about it, or it's been authenticated, or you see markings indicating the quality, like a 18K stamp on the inside of a ring. Because, like at other places, say consignment shops, sometimes the owners, the people who work there and who buy and sell, they can't authenticate everything. They may have a good idea about what's real and what's not, but it's very easy for some counterfeit goods to pass through. So you have to be the one to know what you're buying, or go ahead and be willing to get it authenticated to make sure you're getting what you pay for. Don't forget that you can also get an even better deal by negotiating price and paying in cash. Let's move on to number 17, and that is online community groups and websites. A lot of people find items through online community groups and websites and apps. I've tried a few times and haven't had that much success on my own. Usually the items have been overpriced, or the people have been sort of flaky. They'll tell me they're going to meet and then they change the time, or they don't show up. It's been challenging. Alternatively, I have had friends and family members with really good success buying and selling items from these websites. My relatives have gotten children's items for free. I have a coworker who's gotten tons of furniture. She's basically furnished her whole entire house with free items. Some places like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, these places, they don't charge commission either. So you're keeping more of your money while you sell or while you get inventory. Here are a few places to sell: Facebook Marketplace and buy sell trade groups, Craigslist, Nextdoor, Let Go. There are lots others. Moving on now, we're on 18, which is clothing swaps. And this is a fun way to find items for resale. I've been to a few clothing swaps in my life and I've really enjoyed them. The first was amongst girlfriends many years ago. This was before I started reselling. And we all brought clothes over to a person's house. We socialized and ate and drank. And then we went through rounds picking clothing. Another clothing swap I attended was a bit more formal, and it was hosted as a fundraiser for an organization. I think it was the student organization American Red Cross at the school I attended. And how it worked is that I brought in a number of items, say 5 pieces of clothing, and I received a certain number of tickets for those items. So I would receive 5 tickets. Then I went in a room that was full of tables covered with clothing, and I could pick out 5 things I wanted. In both of those instances, there was clothes left over at the end of the event. I know both times the host wanted to donate items to the thrift store. I don't know if it happened, but if I had resold at that time, I probably could have taken more of the items to resell. I don't think clothing swaps are a consistent way to source items. You might find some great stuff to resell when they do happen, but you're better off finding another source if you want consistency. Or you can host these clothing swaps yourself to get them going more often. We are on to number 19. This is a funny one. It's dumpster diving. I got this idea after reading an eye-opening article in the New York Times about a man who dumpster dives around San Francisco, including at a home owned by Mark Zuckerberg. He has found unique treasures, new and used clothes that were still wearable. And this isn't a surprise given the amount of wealth in San Francisco and, in general, the promotion of fast fashion. People flip through clothes quickly. Dumpster diving has a bad reputation. When I think about it, I imagine getting dirty with all kinds of germs and filth and fighting off raccoons and other creatures that might be lurking around the dumpsters. I know it's not always that bad. You don't have to jump head over heels into dumpsters to find things. Sometimes you find things outside or around dumpsters. You can find stuff on sidewalk corners as well. I know a lot of college students furnish their apartments with furniture just left near dumpsters or on the street. Some homes, they specially order dumpsters, and these people, as they clear out their homes, they throw everything in the dumpster. You may be able to find some stuff in or around the dumpster. Some people find bags of clothes just laying on the sidewalk because the tenants of those homes or apartments, they're moving. The clothes are still in good condition and someone may want them, but those people, they don't have time to go to the thrift store. They don't have time to find someone to take those items. They know the items are still in good condition, so they'll just put them out on the sidewalk and they know someone's going to take them. That could be you. I recognize that getting clothes this way is not for everyone. I haven't tried it myself and I don't know that I ever will, but it's an option if you come across it. Now that we've covered the 19 places to get clothing, I'm going to give you one place not to source, and this may surprise you. It's the Poshmark wholesale portal. As much as I love Poshmark, I don't recommend sourcing from their wholesale portal, and I'll give you an example of why. The other day, I was searching for a shirt or a sweater that says "Meet me at the bar," and I came across probably 100 listings of a generic duffel bag that says "Meet me at the bar." These bags are all exactly the same and not particularly special. They are not by a name brand, they are not designer, nor are they rare. I've even found these not just on Poshmark, but on ThreadUp, so who knows where else people are selling these exact same bags. How are people supposed to sell this bag? They only have one choice, which is really to lower the price until it's lower than that of all their competitors, and then at that point, they may be losing money. I took a snapshot of some of the listings that are up for this Meet Me at the Bar bag, and I found some as cheap as $10, whereas I found others that were $25 or even $55. If someone's looking for this bag, what are they going to pick? The one that's $10. So the person that's selling it for $55, maybe that's what they heard the retail price is. Very likely they're not going to get $55 for it. So if they bought these through the wholesale portal and they are reselling them on Poshmark or other platforms, very likely they're not going to make their money back. Now, there may be some things in the wholesale portal that you can reasonably sell for a profit, but most things are not. The prices are too high to start and you're competing against all the other sellers trying to unload the same product. I love Poshmark, but I won't steer you wrong here. Stick with the other places. There's 19 of them listed here. Stick with those other places to gather your inventory. Because the bottom line is, no matter where you source, you have to find things that are cheap enough to resell and that you're going to make a profit on. As a seller, it's a good idea to have several sources of inventory. You know the saying about putting all your eggs in one basket? The same is true about finding inventory. If you only have one place to source, you're going to be in trouble if that place closes or it stops stocking anything good. And that has happened to me before. In the past couple years, several thrift stores in my area have closed. I've had to move on to other thrift stores and other ways of sourcing. If you have several places, you're not going to face much of a loss if anyone closes because you have those other places to go to. I do think it's worth trying out different ways to find inventory from time to time. You may find one you really like. You don't have to stick with any if you don't like them or they just are not working out for you. But you may get lucky and come across the one or two that give you better results. I hope this list of 19 places to get clothes has been helpful and you can get more clothes and make more sales. That's a wrap on this post, part 2. I know it's been long. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I will be back soon with another audio blog post. Until then, bye.